Do, 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 do. Oh, da, 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 da. Okay. Yay. So first and foremost, let me get the toxic stuff out of the way, okay? I just do it as quick as possible. I'm just hustling a little bit. Let me hustle, okay? First thing, top surveys. Top surveys is what I use to make most of my money, for various reasons. But it works with my little brain, the best. It's just gonna be easy, to do that. So if you have free time and maybe you don't have better options at the moment, top surveys is a pretty decent thing. Ultimately, it is my favorite version of this kind of thing. It's not a scam, but it also is, like, if you can see, 18 minutes 63 cents. But there are a ton of like little special deals they do. They give you codes through WhatsApp and Telegram and Instagram in weird ways, but you know, it helps sometimes, quite a bit. As you can see, I have made 929 about on average 100 a month, being very lazy about it. A few hours a day. If you were to spend, when I first started, I was making like $10-15 a day, but I stopped doing that because my brain was breaking. I have 222 rewards redeemed, which is really funny to me, but 1062 surveys. So and there's also offers, which so before I get to the next part, actually, I in the bio and in the comments, there's going to be a link to both of these things. The first one is top surveys. When you use my link, could I even show you? When you use, I don't want to dox myself. When you use my link, it will give me a percentage of your earnings, but not in the way in which it takes from your earnings. So if you make $10, you make $10, but I get 10% of that, so $1. Not much, but just saying. But this has worked really well for me. Second thing is FanDuel. It is gambling. Okay, so if you have any kind of gambling problems, just stay the F away, please. I don't want to mess with any of that. But here I am. A hustle is a hustle, but hustle responsibly. If you have any kind of problems with addiction or like this in particular, any kind of trauma attached to it, even just stay away. You know what I mean? You go ahead, scroll through this part real and then go to the actual video, since we're 3 minutes into this anyways. But the toxic stuff out of the way is the toxic stuff out of the way. I don't want to do it at the end. I want to do it now, because transparency, you know what I mean? I don't want to feel like I'm lying, so this is how I'm doing this. I'm gonna have a link to this as well. That is also going to give me benefits. Basically, it works for both of us. How does this work? I'm gonna go to, hold on, let me read on my YouTube real fast, but I do believe that it is a mutually beneficial one. Hold up. Gotcha. Posts. So the way this one works is through the invite link. If you play through $10+, so $10 and up, within 30 days of joining, I get $175 in bonus cash, and you get $25 in bonus cash. So that's how that works. Again, full transparency. Obviously, I'm going to get more because that's how these things function. The bonus cash cannot be redeemed, but you can use it to place bets or whatever. And it accounts for both FanDuel and the sports page in their little casino thing that they have attached to that. So it is what it is. It's gambling. So be responsible, be thoughtful, be mindful. But I'm going to have a link to both of these things if you're interested in either or. You are more than welcome to screw around with that. And by the way, I do live in a place called Michigan, and you can use FanDuel in places like Michigan. So there is that. Into the game. Sorry about all that. It took a while. So I've been really busy because holidays have been coming up, and there was the whole thing with shutdown. I actually did an interview with the second largest Brazilian news company, and it was a good hour-long interview. I don't know if they published it. It probably not, just because of the things that I had to say were very blunt about the Trump admin, and well, it just is what it is, you know. I don't know how well there's a lot of filters in media, so I don't know if they publish it. Didn't really look into it, but I did do that with, what was her name, UOL or something like that, OUL. But they're pretty big ultimately. So the game, I have been busy spending extra time, making extra money, doing extra things so that I could take care of everybody for Christmas. So I haven't got too much done. I've got a little bit of sound work done, a little bit of sound design done. Even if it gets changed later on, it's a pretty good placeholder. So we'll start with that. Go to Graveyard Town. It's gonna be harder for you to hear because like what I hear in my headphones is like a different volume level than what is recorded in OBS. Of course. Okay, the dog is barking. I apologize greatly for that one. He's gonna bark a bit. He's excited when he hears noises. He's a big protective boy. He's a little bit wussy. He's a wussy. He's a purse dog. Anyways, the sound design, it's gonna be a mixture of things. Not like I want to have a fluid style in everything. I want it to feel like the weight to it, but the way in which I go about producing the music is going to be varying, right? Like there's going to be sound effects that I might do, like things. A lot of things are going to be done digitally, especially through Soundtrap. But there's probably also going to be instances. What is this thing? Is that a smudge on my screen, or is that a little line in the game? I think there's a little line in the game right there, bro. You see that? Look at that. The fuck? I mean, there's a lot of those because it's not cleaned up. It won't be cleaned up for a while, but anyways. What was I saying? Oh yeah, sound design. But I also kind of want to like make things happen by the way of like how do I say it, like making noises with my hands and objects and stuff for certain things. So I'm gonna experiment with a lot of that. It'll all work together. And as you're experiencing the background sounds and everything, the background music and stuff, it's worth noting that like not everything is done, and right now I just kind of have it thrown on to the maps themselves. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to have them so they can fade in and out and be a lot smoother in transition. They are going to be done through events, but for the sake of seeing how things feel, it's not currently done that way. For example, we're going to go into this little spot. It's going to be a hard transition because of that, but that should be done a little bit differently. So now that this boss is here, there is sign. Oh, it's the sign's not set up on that. That's funny. There is this. Hold on. I have to. You're not gonna know the difference other than the sound's gonna be a little bit weird for a second because I got to get something out of the oven. So I'm gonna pause the recording. All right. I have a third of a sandwich left over from the other day. I put it in the oven. I had to get that out. Okay. You all know about this boss. Back to what I'm gonna do. I think is you don't really need to see me play through all this. But the boss fights are gonna have their own music too, a la the way of Clair Obscur. It'll be like that. So that is that. Hold on, I'm going to switch out to the hub because the hub is a little bit different now, and I'll explain that in this and well for you right now. Okay, the hub looks a little bit different. That is because I decided to make it scrollable. It just works better here, especially since I'm going to have it open up a little bit as the story progresses and everything, where it's not going to just, it'll be a little bit wider. And also, because this is based on a dream I had, not the game, but some aspects of it, like the hub is based off of a dream that I had. So I'm gonna have it expandable, but now you see that it's just a little bit nicer. I'm still gonna keep in like smaller rooms where the map is. Can I shoot? I don't have anything I could show you with. But so that the map, like in the at your home and in the swine station that you just saw, how it's like the building, the like explorable section is surrounded by like black and like words and designs and things, and then in the middle is where your eyes kind of like are focused in that little space. You don't necessarily have to be looking way at the corner. It still does little weird things for like the sake of this. Do you know what I mean? Like it's still weird. I might even just take out the ability to zoom altogether in those spaces. I don't really know. Who knows? I might even be able to be more creative about finding a resolve for that. I don't know. But I'm gonna keep them how they are, like that, not being scrollable like this. You know, where like the map moves, and stuff, so that you're not just your character moving around on a complacent screen. Because it does something to your brain. It gives you a nice feeling of like difference. It splits things up a little bit. It feels good. So now what I'm gonna do is we are gonna go into the tunnels, and I'm gonna talk about the respawn system for enemies. So we're gonna do that now. All right, tunnels. So the respawn system is like Dark Souls, basically. So first thing, I need to actually make sure some things work. I actually recorded this video earlier, and then I was like, oh, I gotta fix a couple things. So then I fixed them, and then I was like, oh, I might as well just restart the video anyways, because I left some things out. See the little rats? You know, little rats. And they get triggered when you break the pot over in this direction, over on the right up there. There's a little pot. When you break that, you get things, and it also triggers the rats. Not all enemy encounters are going to be like that. A lot of enemy encounters are just going to have aggro, and I know the music is a little bit weird on here. It doesn't flow perfectly. I will fix that later on in another point. But so the way that this works, first of all, let me get the normal save out, so make sure that the enemies are not. Okay. That does not count as a well, actually, okay, I'm gonna save again, because these guys need to not be aggro when I do my save, because okay, good, because there's a switch that is not switched, which would be the breaking of the thing. So I'm gonna get them broke, and then I guess I'm gonna kill them, and I'm gonna show you that they respawn. How it works currently is that the is that they respawn where they die. I don't think I'm going to keep it like that, but that would be like kind of an interesting thing, but it would just be too easy to get stuck. You know, one always wants to be, that's such an annoying noise. One always wants to be a little bit so look, blood splatter. One always wants to be a little bit, what's the word, creative, innovative, you know. And by the way, do remember that because I warped into the tunnels, it didn't do some certain events, so the lights are like bright, but they aren't otherwise. But they are right now. So, you know, tone of things might be a little bit different when you're in the place properly. All right. And now, because the switch should be switched, so now when I click on this, yep, they're there, and they are aggro, and I just want to make one more sure, make sure all the things work. Guess it does. I had to fix the dimming, was kind of not doing good, but now I fixed it, so now it is in fact doing good. All right, let's move on to the the other rats out there somewhere. If they like on screen they chase you, I gotta figure out a way to make their aggro space, their chase you space, a little bit more confined. Is that ladder tripping, or it's tripping on OBS? Probably not for you. Probably just because the screen's so small on OBS comparatively. All right. Onto the Kingdom of Rabbits. There have been a little bit of changes here. Namely, namely just some design updates. Not anything crazy. Again, I've been really busy, so but some lore updates to these rabbits I will tell you. It's gonna be suggested, not outright flat out said, but it's gonna be suggested that that the rabbits are in fact just normal people, regular people, maybe not normal but regular humans or whatever we are, who have destroyed the who have killed the rabbits, maybe humanoid rabbits species, maybe other not humanoid, I don't really know, maybe I don't know, maybe it's just stitched together by a bunch of rabbit pelts or whatever because they're weird and gross and they do butchering things because they're gross. I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet, but that's gonna be a suggested lore. And as you can see when we click on the poster here for the rabbit, the bunny girls as they're called, you can see the stitches and everything among other things, but you can see the stitches of that are suggested, but it's not gonna straight up say that. I guess I should talk about it. So like posing in portraits so far have been like kind of straightforward, which is fine, but for certain aspects, certain things, I'm gonna have it like for here, like having like a straight frontal view just wouldn't work as well, so I kind of went with that. It also helps me practice work on other styles and shapes, you know what I mean? Not styles and shapes, but other like dimensional stuff. I don't know. I'm saying a bunch of dumb stuff right now, bro. It's okay. What else? Alice. Okay, so I think I'm done showing you most visuals changes of things. It's just I've been really busy, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to work on the game until right now, and there's still like an immense amount of stuff to do forever because it's gonna take a long time. You know, I want the game to be good. I want it to be deep. I want it to be what I want it to be, and I'm gonna make it what I want it to be. But I am going to be working on the caves and the village of rabbits, and which all the Kingdom of Rabbits area, which if I mentioned in the last video, but in case you didn't see that, this section of the game is all about power and sex and wealth and just power in general. All those things are aspects of power, so we're going to be tackling a lot of that. What's going to happen? It's a little bit of a forward thing. You're going to go through the caves. You're going to do the cave section, and then you're going to come across Alice. Now Alice, I got to pull up Photoshop again because some reason I thought being lazy about this was a way to do this, but Alice is who it sounds like Alice from Alice in Wonderland. This whole area is inspired by this whole section of the game. It's inspired by Alice in Wonderland. I've always wanted to put that in the game. I always kind of wanted to like tackle that thing in my own kind of like horror kind of style, and so now I am doing that and taking the opportunity to do that, and it still fits into the game's kind of like what the heck is going on thing. So Alice is a doll. Literally a doll? Maybe? That's kind of like what I wanted to do. You know, like Revenant in Night Rain? Something like that. And her eyes are ripped out, and that's gonna be like a whole thing. Maybe her eyes are gonna be ripped out. You know what I should do? Her eyes are gonna be ripped out. I gotta put like a thing. I'll show you. So what I'm gonna do, I think, with this, not save this right now, but I'm going to have like like a slight like a blue gray kind of thing, the eyes like that, something like that. Maybe more light. It's very salad fingers, which makes sense. My inspirations are with the hair. Maybe I will save that. That's his own layer, right? Yeah, I'll save that just for reference. But maybe I'll have the eyes be. You have to like in order to get Alice the doll. You'll have the look at that mess. You'll have the eyes be. You have to rip out the eyes of a something, a human, and then put them on. You have to make a sacrifice, ripping the eyes off of another person and stick it on Alice, and then Alice becomes alive, and that could be a companion of yours. I don't know how, and then I'm going to work on the companion system, so that's going to be a big thing. I don't exactly know how I'm going to go about it. In terms of like is it all going to be just in the like story based, like hard story, like locked in, like it would be like in Clair Obscur? Or do I want to have it maybe a little bit more free, like in Fear and Hunger, where there could be permadeaths? Not really sure yet. Probably both to some degree, but there's a lot of variables there. Jeez. We'll figure it out. That's going to be exciting. That's what the next big event of things is going to be based around, or what I'm going to be working on. I'm going to be working on filling in design, obviously, which I haven't even finished on any of the spaces. Like Graveyard Town has obviously got a lot more going on, but it's also just very blank in some areas, like the garden over here. There's nothing there except for the pond, but that is what it is. Like that stuff, if I spend so much time working on that at one period before I get somewhere else, I get nowhere. That's just polishing and finishing things up as you go along, you know what I mean? But kind of, it's really important to keep a steady flow of eventing and, mechanics and story and all of that stuff. So that's why things look kind of jank a lot in these videos, is because they're not my main priority in terms of attention. It's also why I haven't put the characters' animations in yet, and I'll get to that, and I will do it. Everything will get cleaned up, and it'll be the style, the way that I want it to be. It's just I have to keep, like I said, keep a steady flow of actual game mechanics and the depth of the game beyond just the way it looks. Which is why I've been working on all these different mechanics that I haven't don't necessarily get used a lot in like RPG Maker games, because I there's like this idea that an RPG Maker game has to have like you can't have innovative combat, and I don't think that's true, even in the turn-based section. That's why I have like the yin and yang system instead of just like flat out flasks and just like stuff like that, you know what I mean? And like parries, of course, like that's nothing like new or whatever, none of this is, but still, I think I've covered everything. There's only so much to cover, but if you want to look real fast, you want to see like how convoluted the system for respawning is. Basically, you get there's switches for each enemy, and then you have everything's done as an event, like a singular event. So you have like the two normal things and then the two other things that are attributed to respawning, which is all dependent on this, and just like it's really messy, even though it doesn't sound like it. It's kind of overcomplicated, but and then like even this, it's nothing because it's just the blood. But why is the priority same as characters? It should be below characters. The fuck, what are we doing? We change that. Same as characters. Is that why this is like this thing is like no, below characters? The heck is that? I wonder if that's why. Some things. Look at me discovering things below characters. That should be fine. If it's not, then oops. I'll worry about that later. I think that's everything. As I said earlier, in terms of like the FanDuel thing, stay. This is your sign to stay away from that if you are if it's not safe for you. Okay. I'm hustling a little bit, the best I can, but at the same time, I care about your well-being. Okay, so take care, and hopefully in the next one there is a lot more to cover. I think I'm gonna play Where Winds Meet, and I think I'm gonna stream it a little bit. Why not? I'll put it on an SSD now, so it'll be better. I found an SSD. I'm gonna buy one soon, but I just found one. But doesn't have much. Only has 250, 235 available gigs, so not a whole lot. 1 or 2 games at a time, basically, which is okay because the downloading speed and installation speeds on it, even though it's not a M.2 or whatever, it's just a SATA SSD. It's like 550 and like 500, 480 or whatever, like read and write speed, respectively, is it's so much better. It's just so much quicker, like downloading and installing. So I don't mind uninstalling and installing games. I don't know why I'm telling you about all this. Goodbye.